We're here in the very beautiful home of Mrs. Edith Lustig, the mother of the wonderful, incredible Henny Machlis, and we're here to find out about Henny as a child, Henny as a young adult, Henny before she made Aliyah. So I'm going to ask Mrs. Lustig to tell us a little bit about Henny as a child.
She was always different from my other children. She started when she was young. She was very friendly. She made friends like you breathe. She always had a tremendous emunah, and she was always very, very cognizant of her religiosity. I don't know if it's a word, but you get the idea.
Yes, we can certainly get the idea. Could you tell us a little bit about her bitachon? How did it manifest?
I'll tell you, the first thing that set her off, her father davened in Lubavitch because we lived across the street from them. They were 770, we were 755. And the Rebbe had a minhag that Erev Yom Kippur, the people who would come for mincha, he would give lekach, cake, and they would make a l'chaim, and he would shake their hand. She was about 6 or 7 years old, and she went with her father to shul. And of course, when the Rebbe shook her father's hand, she put her hand down, and the Rebbe shook hands with her.
Wow.
And subsequently, she had one of the Hasidim as a teacher in high school, and she told him the story, and he said, no, it's impossible. The Rebbe doesn't shake hands with girls. And I had to write him a letter and explain this situation.
Testify that she was telling the truth.
Yes. She loved animals. We had a dog because at one point we lived in an apartment on Eastern Parkway across from 770. It was a large apartment, but we only had 2 bedrooms. And so it was a little difficult with 5 children, but we managed. At any rate, my children discovered that when I was a little girl, I had a dog.
Mm-hmm.
And my father would do anything for those children.
Mm-hmm.
So he said, okay, Yeti, I'm getting you a dog. I said, Daddy, when I buy a house, you can buy me a dog. I can't have a dog in this apartment. So sure enough, when the day that we moved, July 13th, 49 years ago, my daughter Chumi remembered, and she said, okay, now we're getting a dog.
Wow.
So she
held him to it. He was accountable.
I learned from that you don't promise children anything. You say maybe, could be, but never definite. So we got a dog. But of course, once it wears off, and anyway, by that time, the older girls were, I gave birth to 4 daughters and a son. So there was at least a 5, 6, 7 year difference. At any rate, Henny became the official dog.
Wow. Tell us that story that you told me about how she created a leash that
Right.
shows her intellectual curiosity and also her adherence to halachot.
She was a young teenager, and at that time, I don't know, there was, you get different machlokes during the years. They said if you take a leash and it drags on the floor, you're being machal Shabbos.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's touching the ground and it's like carrying. I don't remember. So Henny decided she's going to make her own style leash. She took metal hangers like you get in the cleanings when you do something to be cleaned, and she connected them so that when you looked at it, you were looking at an elongated capital L with a little schmitchik on the bottom. And she connected it to his collar. And when she took him out Friday night, it was like she was walking with a long L. And nothing touched the ground.
Wow, that's amazing.
She also, as she grew older and she was in high school, they had an organization called JEP. It was for Jewish children who were not so Jewish, either from
Not affiliated.
broken homes or into marriages, whatever. And invariably, she would bring home at least one child every Friday night for supper.
It's so heartwarming. I guess that's how she started her life of chesed.
She, sometimes it was a little, like, Henny again. She said, "Oh,
There was
Ma."
no stopping her.
And
No stopping her.
I didn't try to stop her.
Okay.
I didn't.
Well, I can imagine somebody that does that much good needs a very supportive mother.
She was always very good about it, and very, like, he doesn't have a father. His father doesn't want him to be Jewish. All the sob stories, and I'm not that strong, so I said, go ahead.
Well, I'm sure she needed your support. So,
Yeah, she was active in high school.
What high school did she go to?
She went to Yeshiva University High School for Girls in Brooklyn.
Right.
She was very active. She played basketball and she did all kinds of things. She also ran for GO president. And I think she made it.
Uh-huh.
Of course, we helped her make up stickers, vote
She
for
was a
Henny-
good campaigner.
Henny Lust.
Uh-huh. That's wonderful. And where did she meet her husband? Did she meet her husband
We
here?
met. No, there's an important part. She was very close to her father. Her father they manufactured kosher food products,
Okay.
gel dessert, and the girls took turns working for him. And when her second sister got married, the third sister was going to nursing school in the Bronx, Lehman's. So she went to work part-time for her father. And so she helped him at work. And I have one consolation now. It may sound foolish, but she's enjoying her father. Her father died 36 years ago. So, whatever. So we made up stickers for her, and she did that. And also, she always had in the back of her mind, I think, that she would live in Israel, because the year she graduated from high school, I took her and her brother to Israel for 6 weeks. We rented an apartment and we...
You lived like Israelis.
Living like Israelis.
And she developed a love for the land.
And she was a member of B'nai Akiva, although now it's whatever. But she went to Mosheva, and wherever she went, she brought goodness.
Right. Well, her Shem Tov is everywhere, so we know that.
Goodness, and she had a feeling for people.
So give us another example of the kind of chesed projects that she started.
She had tried, when they were married, they knew they were going to Israel, but they got a big apartment and schnorred furniture from everybody. Of course, they weren't going to buy furniture here and then go to Israel.
Right.
And they were married in April, and they left at the beginning of July.
So all her children were born in Israel?
No.
No.
She had trouble giving birth. And she would go, one year she came here, Yehoshua was born here, and she was so intent on having children. When she needed her 8th or 9th cesarean, she went to Haifa, because there she would tell them she'd only had one.
Wow, she could make
I
up
think
a
that's
story.
the only way that she
Wow, that's incredible.
that she lied about.
What fortitude, my goodness.
She said, no. The only thing, she had a very fine doctor who worked in the place that's not giving birth anymore. I forgot the name, but anyway, she had a Dr. Pollock, and Dr. Pollock used to come and yell at her and say, you know, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? At the end, her sisters got married and they had babies. And when Dr. Pollock met her in Bikur Cholim, that was he would say to her, what am I doing here? You could deliver the baby.
Right. Wow, that's amazing.
She was at everyone's delivery and everyone's labor.
So she was like the birthing coach.
She was the birthing coach for all her
And not
daughters.
surprised to hear that. With all we heard about her, we understand her compassion and goodness.
But I tell you, it's a good thing, because now when one of the married children goes to the hospital All the sisters go with her.
Right, so she set a precedent for continuing her legacy of kindness.
All the sisters, she's with them, with each other, to the point where when they see them, they walk away from them. They don't talk to them anymore.
Right, they know they're
You
in
take-
good hands.
you
They know
take
they're in
charge,
good hands.
and that's all.
So that's why I can say from my heart, her legacy will always be here. The lessons that she taught, not just by talking, but by showing, will always be here.
That was the main thing that you get from all the stories and all the things. She was just
A
Henny.
special neshama,
I can't say Oliver Shalom yet.
and I understand that.
It's
It's too
You
new.
know, I always, unfortunately, I buried my parents and a second husband and my brother, and I always said, time heals all wounds. You know, when you have a scar,
Right.
it's better than an open wound on your hand, but it doesn't work with children.
So we
And-
feel your pain, but it's uplifting, and that's the whole purpose of this video, to talk to the women that come to Kever Rachel about a woman that exemplified bitachon, that exemplified chesed, that exemplified all those wonderful things. And somebody like that, their neshama is always with everyone, teaching everyone a very strong lesson. And I thank you so much for your time.
It was hard, but it was a pleasure.